From Ascension Lightworkers to the Ascension Lightworker Collective, the alchemy of the ancient soul. Why the deepest suffering produces the rarest wisdom. Starseeds have always felt older than their years, not in body but in higher understanding, naturally seeing through false illusions. They feel the pain of humanity as though it is personal to themselves. This is the signature of an ancient soul. The ones that have recycled through enough lifetimes, experiences, ancestral memories to carry both sorrow and serenity in the same breath. Old souls are not here to escape their pain, they are here to transform and refine it, to turn chaos and dysfunction into higher purpose and compassion, to translate the human suffering into higher guidance by authentic example for others. Their suffering was not punishment, it was their apprenticeship. Through each internal collapse, they study the architecture of their rebirth. Through every loss, they cultivate vision. Jung called this the path of individuation through suffering, the slow forging of consciousness that can hold both heaven and hell without splitting. The gift of being chronically misunderstood. Why being too complex means you are living at the edge of collective evolution. The ascending self feels like they live in a language no one speaks but them. This was not failure, it is foreshadowing. Every consciousness that reaches beyond its generation is first called strange. Nietzsche said those born ahead of their time are punished with loneliness. But that loneliness is a sacred space, intentional hibernation, the chrysalis between eras. Your sensitivity to subtlety, your refusal to live superficially, the deeper need for meaning in a world obsessed with outer and shallow distractions. None of these are flaws. They are clear signals that you see much further than most. There are choices to be made when feeling misunderstood. Either shrink your vocabulary to fit their comprehension, or keep speaking your truth until the right ones appear. Why your loneliness is proof of awakening, not failure. You may have always felt like the outsider, in family gatherings, in friendship groups, and even in love. You wore the costume, you played the part, you tried to laugh at the right moments, to blend into the rhythm, and yet deep down you always knew. You are not truly into it. The belonging you felt was superficial, dependent on silence and performance. So when you began to heal, the truth came pouring in, realizing you never really belonged there. This is known as the painful exile of separation from the collective illusion. Nietzsche stated to become who you are is to risk standing alone. For the trauma survivor, this exile is extremely intense. When love was conditional, authenticity always carried the price of rejection. Over time, loneliness felt like failure. It felt like proof that something was different about you. The conscious reframe. Not belonging is not failure. It is evidence that you refuse to abandon yourself for the comfort of the outside crowd. The loneliness you may carry at various times is not the absence of connection. It is the absence of pretending. Exile hurts, but it is not emptiness. It is the clearing, the space where all the false roles and borrowed masks finally fall away. You may feel alone now, but you are not lost. You are on the threshold of a deeper belonging, one not based in egoic performance, but in the unshakable truth of who you are. When you stand in that truth, the right people will not need you to shrink to fit in. They expand with you. The exile is not your ending, it is the initiation. This is the path of the self, the soul's commitment to authenticity, even when it costs outer belonging. Although this can feel like alienation and exile, it is actually self-initiation. The world does not change through consensus. It changes through the few who refuse to simplify what is complex. Ascending self is stretching the language of consciousness itself. The world is not caught up to this frequency as yet, realizing the silence that once felt like punishment was actually protection, a sacred waiting space. The self was never meant to fit neatly into small minds. They were meant to awaken them. Isolation isn't the absence of resonance. It is the remembrance of truth. 144 flowing in. Starseeds have carried the weight of the world. Because of this, they can feel heavy, tired, distrusting of the world. It is not burnout. It is density. The heart's fatigue is not failure. It is the weight of wisdom forming. The moment you stop wishing for ease and start honoring your depth, that weight lifts and becomes lighter, because it finally has true meaning. Starseed sensitive souls weren't meant to live lightly. They were meant to see deeply, and through their seeing, the world remembers what it forgot. That suffering, when sanctified by understanding, becomes the purest form of light. In loving and devoted ascension service, from Ascension Lightworkers.